Hello, and welcome to today's Republican Voice. I'm Barry Greenspan. I'm the producer of the series. I'm also a former member and a former chairman of the Malden Republican City Committee, and I'm currently an associate member of the Medford Republican City Committee. Today's Republican Voice is a forum where Republican activists and leaders can express their views to the voting public on the issues of the day. My guest is Gene Pinkham.
Hi, Barry.
Thank you for coming on, Gene.
Thanks for having me on.
Gene, for many years you've been the highest profile conservative in the city of Malden, known by your column.
A little to the right, please.
And it was carried by the Malden Observer. Has the column been permanently or temporarily suspended?
I don't know. I really don't get much of an answer. My columns, I send them in, and they haven't been getting in the paper. I don't actually work for the Malden Observer, so please don't complain to me that it's a little light these days.
Okay, Gene, your June 25th, 2009 column was titled Exercising the Right to Vote. And with it, you drew the Malden Republican City Committee into the nonpartisan the Malden City Council at large race. Could you give the viewers an overview of what that article is about?
The impetus for that article was actually an article by David D'Arcangelo, where he was blowing his own horn, talking about how instrumental he was in ensuring the integrity of the 2008 vote. And that outraged me because in a Malden Republican City Committee vote on a very important issue, I was disenfranchised by David D'Arcangelo when he read the roll call and omitted my name and then explained that it was done so because I had resigned from the committee, and that was not true.
I see. But you did resign as the chairman of the Ward 2 committee.
I resigned as the chairman of the Ward 2 committee because there were some complaints about a column I wrote that was critical of the National Republican Party, which lost the 2006 election because they were not staying true to not just conservatism, but they just went wayward from the contract with America, which 7 out of 10 of those points were actually signed into law by President Clinton at the time.
That was interesting. Did you get any feedback from the community? Any calls, any letters about it?
About
that article in June,
one?
that June article?
No, there were just a few comments on the Malden Observer website saying, it's a personal issue.
I understand.
But it wasn't. It was actually an issue of character because there were other instances in Chairman D'Arcangelo's way of doing business that just didn't pass the smell test. And if he was going to do that with people that were on his side, what would he be like had he actually gotten onto the city council?
Do you believe that that column contributed anything to his fourth place finish in both the preliminary election in September and the general election in November?
Well, it may have actually gotten him votes. Who knows?
All right.
You know.
Now that the column is not appearing regularly in the Observer, have you considered offering it to one of the other two Malden newspapers?
I have in the past been published in the Malden Evening News, okay. And Steve Frecker, actually a while back, was trying to poach me, but I had a very good relationship with Tim LaValle, and I wasn't going to jump on ship on him just because he passed on an article. And I own a little to the right. I can put it anywhere. I send it to multiple publications. If they print it, fine. I don't get paid for it. I just like to write. And I guess I got pretty good at it, which would surprise my old English teachers at Malden High, who couldn't get me to write, 10 words, never mind 750.
And what other communities was it carried in?
It actually is the Medford Transcript carried it. And the Medford Transcript actually published some articles that the Malden Observer passed on.
Interesting. Okay. Have you always been a Republican?
No, I have not. Back in the early 70s, I was sitting in Malden High thinking about Richard Nixon sending me to Vietnam, and thank God that was over by the time I got around to graduation. But I was a Democrat because I was born in Malden, and I grew up building models of the PT-109. And if you're a kid from the 70s and you didn't think that was the best present to get, I can't talk to you. I like JFK. I have great memories of him, and his assassination was a tragedy.
Certainly.
And Have you seen that video by Erica Badu stripping for a new music video in Dealey Plaza?
I can't say I have.
You'll be outraged, and you should be. That place is a wound in American
Certainly.
history, and it's outrageous that she did that.
I'll have to check it out. Another question is, when did you become a member of the Malden Republican City Committee?
I think it was probably 2002.
2002. Okay.
Jane Swift was
Still governor?
still governor.
Okay. And are you still active?
No, I haven't been to a meeting since the night that we had that altercation.
You were there. Oh, the altercation. No, Gene, I hate to bring back, you have been to a couple of meetings. You were at the forum when we had Jennifer Nasser and Mike Franco. They were the candidates for the state party chairmanship.
That's right, I was, yeah.
But that was probably the last time.
Probably it, yeah.
And what was the first thing that caused your estrangement, that led to it?
The first thing was the very first meeting I attended. Jane Swift's campaign treasurer made the announcement that conservatives weren't welcome. And then John Souther went on to say how the purpose of the committee was for us to get those state jobs. Well, I'm a conservative.
Okay.
I work in the private sector, or the dreaded private sector, as Howie Carr likes to call it. And I'm not looking for a government job. I'm looking to shrink government. And I don't want to just trade hacks for the sake of having an RFD next to your name.
Okay, this is an interesting question I have for you, but maybe you can answer it. Now, if every Massachusetts town and city ward were organized, which requires a minimum of 3 party members, there would be 640 Republican and 640 Democrat committees. At the last count, there were only 322 Republican committees, which is just a shade over 50%, and the Democrats were at 70%. The next question is, do you believe Republicans can successfully run for a partisan office, such as the state legislature, a county office, or Congress, in communities that do not have organized Republican committees? And the reason I ask is due to the recent United States Senate special election, especially the results, correct. Now, comparing Malden with the cities that border it indicate a Republican committee may not be necessary to ensure a winning vote. Senator Brown received 52% of the vote statewide. In Malden, he got 43.3%. In Medford, he got 42%, but that's where Attorney General Martha Coakley lives, so that's not surprising that she would do well there.
Right.
But Melrose, he got 50.5%, and both Medford and Melrose both have organized Republican committees. Now, what's surprising is Revere, which last had a Republican committee in 2004. They supported Senator Brown. He carried the city with 52.8%. That's even higher than his state average. And in Everett, he also did better than in Malden. And they haven't had a Republican committee even longer than Revere has. He got 46.5%. So do you think the Malden Republican City Committee did enough for Scott Brown, or the Democrats just worked that much harder for Attorney General Coakley?
Malden has a very effective Democrat city committee. Sue Thompson is the hardest working woman in politics that I know, and she's a great kid.
But she's not the chairman, though.
So she's not the chairman anymore, but she does a lot of work, and they really they make it a social occasion. I know a lot of Democrats. Most of my friends are Democrats,
Of course.
just because of the numbers, but they really have a lot of fun doing it. And the Malden Republican City Committee wasn't fun.
Well, I think you know as well as I do, I tried to. I tried.
You did.
I tried.
But they're a long-standing committee. They're old friends, and they've been through a lot of battles together, and they really are united, and that's a credit to them.
What's your personal take on Scott Brown's election? Do you think it was a fluke, or is it going to have any effect in November?
I think that the people of the Commonwealth are Kennedy'd out. And they saw their opportunity and they took it. And he did have a lot of support from outside of the state.
Sure.
A lot of Tea Party advocates came to get the word out. And he was a very good candidate. He was well liked in Beacon Hill, very good conservative record, and he got the message across. And Martha Coakley she must have thought she was John Kerry, you know?